welcome to ENT News. My name is Eric Rennie, and today we will be highlighting the work done by the graphics department during this semester of tech production. Joining me today are Corey Small and Jonathan Garcia. Thank you both for joining us.
Hi, how's it going?
Pretty good.
How's everybody doing today?
We're doing pretty good. Thank you, Corey. So my first question is for the both of you, but we'll start off with you, Jonathan. Tell us how you got into doing graphics.
When I think about it, I've been doing graphics for a long time, since I was a teenager, throwing parties with my friends. Usually I would be the one to curate the flyer. I would use templates online, not really get too into it, but here at City Tech, I've been learning a lot more about what it means to be a graphic designer and how to actually manipulate photos and create art from it.
Nice. So you brought some experience with you. So Corey, how did you get into doing graphics?
So for me, I got into graphic design basically because I do a lot of things for church, and I kind of wanted some flyers and some logos, and I didn't know how to do it. So when the opportunity presented itself, I was like, hey, this is something that I can learn. And now that I've gotten into it, I've gotten really great at it.
That's really awesome to hear, Corey. So Jonathan, what are you working on this semester for tech production?
This semester, we've been working on a lot of things. Other than being the crew head of the graphics department, we've been working on our escape room project. And as you can see on the image on the screen, this is the boiler room that I've been working on as part of our escape room, which is a online experience of a series of games and puzzles and riddles that tell a story about what we do at City Tech. Here you can see in comparison to the old photo, I had to take out that boiler that you saw in the front of the image and then change the color a little bit, and other few tricks that I won't spoil you for you.
Nice. It's coming out really realistic and really good. Corey, what are you working on this semester?
Yeah, so this semester we've mostly been working on ENT News, and we've also been working on the escape room project. ENT News is really special. I actually got to design the logo. What you're looking at here is actually part of the conservatory for the escape room. So we had to manipulate some things and try to make it look as scary as possible, put some weird flowers in there to make it look, haunted, so that everybody can have a really scary time. This is like one of my first designs, and I was trying to put it together, but the things weren't kind of mixing the way that they should. So I had to scratch that and start with the one that you saw before. Nice.
It's all coming out really good. So to build on top of what you were saying earlier about being the creator of ENT News' logo, how else?
Sorry, I didn't really hear that question.
No problem. So what I was saying was, like, building upon what you said earlier about being the creator of the news logo for ENT News, how else is the graphics department collaborating with our show? I think we're having some technical issues with Corey, so I'm going to move the question on to Jonathan. How else is the graphics department collaborating with ENT News?
In a multitude of ways. We've been just helping with the credit slides, helping create the right lower thirds, which is the names that you see at the bottom of the screen. And ENT News is a recurring show, so we are doing this every single week. We have our dedicated students creating these graphics that are subtle, but they create and finish the package of what ENT News has to offer.
That's great. And Jonathan, how are you creating the graphics? Like, what softwares, what inspiration maybe?
Well, at the beginning of the semester, our professor had us begin on GIMP just to understand a bit of the language in a way that was uh, more, I don't know, holistic, or it was just easier to understand. And then from GIMP, we started to learn Photoshop. And that's when we took the basics that we learned at GIMP and started using more advanced skills. And since then, around the third week of October, we've just been using Photoshop primarily to not only create, but to also collaborate with other students and bounce off our files.
That's awesome. And Jonathan, when we were talking last week, I remember you telling me that you're in the video section of tech production last semester. So I want to know, what's it like working on the graphics team compared to the video section?
The video section last year was awesome. And I would compare it to maybe being bilingual. On one hand, you have English and Spanish, but if you could speak both, you kind of figure out the similarities between the two, and you understand how to translate the languages. And it's the same with the video world and the world of graphic design. There are these similarities. There are these points of reference. Even the lower thirds is something that I learned in video, and to hear it again in graphic design just cements those lessons and those skills that I think is rudimentary.
That's a really great simile you developed there. So my last question is for you, Jonathan, again. What's it like working on the graphics team virtually rather than in person?
Oh, I think a lot has it's totally different, obviously, but the professors have just handled it in such a way that we can communicate and work together. It almost feels like we're still working in the same classroom on the same projects, communicating in the same way, without the physical presence, but definitely the energy, the spirit, and the work ethic is there. So it has changed, but not by much. Nothing that we can't handle.
Yeah, and it's similar on our end. As you can see, we're live streaming this from home. So we're all doing our best. We're all hanging in there. So before we sign off, could you both give us some closing remarks or advice? Let's start with you, Jonathan.
I would say don't let anything stop you from what you set out to achieve, especially in a year like this one. Achieve what you set out to do.
That's great. And how about you, Corey? Could you give us some closing remarks or advice before we go?
Yeah, I would say the best advice I can give you is make friends and keep in touch with the people that you're working with. This is a work of collaboration. We all work together, and you never know who your next job is going to come through. Somebody that you helped, somebody that you inspired. If you know more than someone else, lend them a hand. If someone else knows more than you, ask for help. Never be afraid to ask for help. That's the one thing that I can give you. Nobody knows where you're falling if you don't ask for help. So be able to speak up, especially in this kind of time where we're not in a classroom together, everybody's apart. Keep in contact, communicate, and speak up so that people know what you need.
That's some really awesome advice, Corey. Well, that's all the time we have today. Thank you both for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Eric. Bye.
See ya. Join us next time for another episode of ENT News with host Omar Santos. If you like what you're seeing, hit the like button below and also hit subscribe.